on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. This is the Buzz Williams Show, presented by Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit Rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. And by Twisted Tea, hard iced tea for the 12th man. Please drink responsibly. Now, here is the voice of Texas A&M basketball, Andrew Monaco.
Howdy. We welcome you to the Buzz Williams Show here at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road, here in College Station. And for the next hour, we're talking Aggie basketball with the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, Buzz Williams. The Aggies are 4-0 after a win on the road Tuesday at SMU, and home on Friday, the win over Oral Roberts. And the Aggies ranked number 12 as they begin this week. And Henry Coleman, the SEC Player of the Week, 3 consecutive double-doubles for Henry Coleman III. So glad you are with us here at Rudy's. Good to see you every week. Glad you're joining us all along the Texas A&M Sports Network, perhaps on the 12th Man mobile app, Learfield's Varsity Network app, or maybe you're checking in on the stream behind the mic on Texas A&M Basketball's Facebook page. However you're joining us, we're so glad you're with us. So much to talk about for the next hour. When we come back, the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, Buzz Williams, joins me. It's the Buzz Williams Show. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. All Hands Craft Cocktails is a new bar-strength canned cocktail. It's made with 6 times distilled vodka and 10% ABV to make sure you never have to sacrifice the quality of your drink. All Hands Craft Cocktails, founded by Aggies and a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. It is the Buzz Williams Show, and we are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Fighting Texas Aggies are 4-0 after 2 weeks of the season. Number 12 in the poll, number 13 in the coaches poll. And Texas A&M coming off wins at SMU on Tuesday, home against Oral Roberts on Friday to get to this 4-0 mark. And the SEC Player of the Week is Henry Coleman III, 3 consecutive double-doubles, the first time since Tyler Davis did it with the Aggies in the 17-18 season. With the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, Buzz Williams. Howdy, my friend.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing very well. And we talked about last week. We'll get into what is upcoming for the Aggies. But your impression so far, Buzz, in these first 4 games and how your team has played?
It seems like it's been 6 months, and it's only been 2 weeks. Playing back-to-back road games in the first 2 weeks of the season, we haven't done that. That's a lot. Playing at Ohio State, playing at SMU. Our staff was phenomenal in figuring out exactly what translated to the game and what we needed to prepare for. And our players were incredibly mature this early in the season on practicing those things, watching those things, understanding those things, and for the most part, executing those things. I think we've done a lot of good things. There are for sure things that we need to work on. I think we've been very aware of where we're good, and our staff has been excellent in realizing where we're deficient quickly, and playing the schedule that we're playing. That's almost the prerequisite. And so the maturity of the staff and the maturity of the players has been really good going into week 3. Obviously, we'll play 3 games this week with the fast turnaround before we go back out on the road. I don't know, in hindsight, I don't know that playing 8 games in November is right. I don't know that playing 6 of those 8 not at home is right. But it does force you immediately to be accountable because there's not anywhere to hide. I also think that playing 2 Power 5 games, scrimmages in October somewhat expedites the schedule to give you a chance going into what we're doing in November. So we were off today. We worked yesterday. We were off today. And then tomorrow, obviously, will be 2 days before we leave. So a lot in front of us, but thankful for the position that we're in after 4 games for sure.
I like something that you said after SMU. Ohio State and SMU allow you to put a deposit in the bank for the end of the season, not just win-wise, Buzz. Is that also for your team to have learned to play in those environments against two very different styles?
Yeah, I think anytime you encounter all of the things that go into playing a Big Ten opponent on the road, playing a team that once was in our conference, and there's a lot of history, whether our players understand it or even the coaches understand it. There's a lot of equity from the Southwest Conference days. It was an incredible environment, as you know, at SMU. In some ways, probably even more hostile than at Ohio State. The people in Columbus are not familiar with where College Station is or any of those things, and they were getting ready to play a football game the next day. So I think all of those things are deposits. The preparation required, the travel that's involved, all of those reps are deposits that you want to put into the bank. Yes, you want to win. Yes, you need to win. But having those reps of the value of the possession, understanding the difference in stylistically how Ohio State plays and what you have to do to have a chance to win versus at SMU 2 days, or I guess it was 3 days later, and what it takes to win. And so, and then we got back at whatever time, 3 o'clock in the morning from SMU, and then you're playing 36 hours later against Oral Roberts, who I thought played incredibly well, and we didn't play great. But there's a lot of lessons that you hope are deposits into your figurative bank account for the future, for sure.
Let's step aside. We'll have more of the Buzz Williams Show when we return to Rudy's. 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Stay with us. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. Howdy, Aggs. Andrew Monaco here, inviting you all to visit Costa Vida Fresh Mexican Grill. Baja-style Mexican, made from scratch daily, serving breakfast, tacos, lunch, and dinner. Aggie-owned and operated. That's our friend Holly in South College Station. This is the Buzz Williams Show. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. The Aggies heading to Orlando for a tournament. ESPN Events Invitational. It begins on Thursday, 11 a.m. local, the Aggies and Penn State. And I was thinking about this, Buzz, a little different from the last time we went to Orlando. Correct?
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Yeah,
I hope
it's
so, too.
To be determined, but I hope it's different.
Buzz, you talk about this schedule, and you talked about the maturity of this team and the experience and leadership that is back. It's never easy. Is it easier when you have a group like this that is playing 6 road games out of 8 in November? And as you said, if you want to up your non-conference, you've got to play games like this on the road.
Well, I hope it comes to fruition in that regard. The key is, can you take the lessons from what has already transpired, and can you carry those with you to Orlando? That's yet to be determined, but that's the hopes of it, right? Is that playing in the games that we've played, hopefully you have a different level of experience, a different level of understanding on all of the things that are required to win. Penn State's played 4 home games, 4 guarantee games. Mm-hmm. So their experience is different than ours up until this point. But if we don't utilize the wisdom that comes from that experience, then it doesn't matter. So I hope that's what translates for sure.
It's been so good. This team has been so good at SEC tournaments, through the run through the NIT. The SEC, I bring up the SEC tournament because you got to win to continue. And Tampa was one where you just kept on winning. And what I was interesting this past year is, you know what, you banked so much to have to play on a Friday, right? You got a chance to do that, but the preparation was the same, and they really seem to have that focus when it's a situation like that.
Well, we're 5-2 in the in the SEC tournament over the last 2 years. Obviously, in year number 1, there wasn't a tournament,
right?
And then in year number 2, the COVID season, we lost in the play-in game, so to say.
Yeah.
So overall, in our tenure here, we're 5-3. That's pretty good. In postseason, we just haven't been very good in November. We were okay in Vegas. We went 2-1. Last year we went 1-2. In the COVID season, we were scheduled to play in the Bahamas, which then I think was moved to South Dakota, which was then canceled. So hopefully we can be better than we've ever been this year.
You mentioned the win over Oral Roberts, and as you said, there's something to figuring out how to win when you're not playing your best. There's also something that Dr. Thornton brought up about, hey, you know what? Here's what we're not doing well. You get a chance to work on that also. But that ends up being a sneaky good win, right? Because when things aren't going well, do you keep on being stubborn and say, nope, we're going to keep doing this? But they figured it out, whether it was on the glass, getting to the line, not turning the ball over. Finding a way to win sometimes can really help a team, can it not?
Yeah, I don't think that we've played necessarily great on either side of the ball. We have done certain things on both sides of the ball incredibly well. As you mentioned, we've rebounded the ball. I think we're first in the country in the total number of offensive rebounds we have through 4 games. That number's a little skewed because if you miss a lot of shots, you'll get a lot of rebounds. But percentage-wise, offensive rebounding-wise, we're doing really well. We're better than we have been through 4 games on the defensive glass in regards to percentage. We're playing with a really low turnover rate, the lowest we've ever played with. We haven't played fast because of the teams that we've played. The game has been a low possession game, but we've done a really good job percentage-wise of making sure we get a shot. So we have done good things. To your point, we've done a lot of things that contribute to winning, while some of those other categories we haven't played great. And so that is encouraging, and I do think that, we're probably a little too transparent and a little too blunt with our guys. I don't think 4 will ever go 2 more games in a row and not make a 3.
Right.
But 4 is being guarded like he's preseason player of the year. And so he's the first guy on the scouting report. And so his game is having to change because how he's being played is obviously making that happen. But that's because he's a priority that he's never been. And so there's a lot of steps that our group and some of the individuals are having to take that they've never had to take before. Henry Coleman has never played back-to-back-to-back games with the competitive synergy and charisma that he has played with in the last week and a half. And without what he's done, we may not have won all of those. We could have easily lost all of those. So I think that that's part of the ebb and flow of the early season, but it's also part of the ebb and flow. You're probably never going to play a perfect game on both sides of the ball. And so understanding different ways that you can still win when some things aren't going well, I think that is a sign of maturity. And I also think that's a sign of, to your point, just accepting, hey, this is 4 is one of 3 players in the country with the number of points, assists, rebounds, steals, and free throw makes that he has. Well, there's one of 3. So we can complain that he hasn't made a shot, and he hasn't made a shot. He's aware that he hasn't made a shot, and he's still going to play because he impacts the game in so many ways. Do I think that that's going to continue to happen? No, I don't. But having said that, has he done a lot of other things that help us win? Absolutely. Do I think that we're going to rebound 57% of our misses? No, but if we can get close to that, then we're always going to have a chance. And so there's a lot of good things that are happening. I think, though, whatever has transpired, the good things and the bad things, I think our staff has said those things in real time, and it's a credit to the maturity and the character of our group that they've accepted those things. And to some degree, we've practiced those things. Right. We beat Baylor, and there are good things that we do. We show them. These are good. This is good. this is not good. We should practice this. We lose to Texas Tech categorically because they played harder and tougher than we were. And that was kind of our first taste of, everybody's looking at us and competing against us differently. We've continued to have that lesson, and we're going to have that lesson again this week. So there's been themes and things that have transpired that in real time our staff has brought to our group, and our group has been very accepting of. And I think that's what you want. Let's keep growing. Let's identify where we're good. Like I tell our guys, when you're bad, I say you're bad.
Right.
So when you're good, I should say you're good. And then that way, no matter what I say, you know what we're telling you is the truth. And they have received the truth. And it's, to some degree, I think it's easy to say the truth. A lot of people say they want the truth. Telling the truth is a little bit harder than most people realize, but receiving the truth is even more difficult. And that just speaks to how our guys were raised. And also, I think it speaks to how the staff recruited them here. Hey, now listen, this is what it is. And when you're here, this is what's going to happen. And so there's nobody here under false pretenses, nor are their mentors and their parents and their coaches. They heard that same message. So there's not a lot of mixed messages within the organization, whether that's coach to coach, whether that's coach to player, whether that's player to player, whether you're playing a lot, whether you're playing not a lot, whether you're young, whether you're old. I think that always, maybe it's because of how I was raised, but I think that always gives you a chance when everybody is telling and receiving the truth.
More with Buzz Williams as the Buzz Williams Show rolls on from Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Stay with us. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12thman.com/maroon contest. That's where you register. Then one winner and a guest will receive game tickets, a VIP tour of Reed Arena, and you'll be recognized on the video board during the game. Register today at 12thman.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We continue with the Buzz Williams Show from here at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. The Aggies will be in Orlando this weekend. Thursday, Friday, Sunday is the ESPN Events Invitational. Penn State on Thursday. That will be at 11 o'clock. So 10:30 will be our Dos Equis tip-off show. This is where I tell Buzz that I'm not going on that trip, and this is where he replaces me. It's normally how this works. It's this time of year. But what's really, really cool is Todd Callis of the Astros is going in my place, so you will have him for 3 days. 3 games. Actually, it's going to be for 4 days.
Well, we'll find out if you're the reason why we haven't been any good in November tournaments.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm putting.
Or have you missed all of the November tournaments?
The only tournament I went to, you were kind enough, Laura and I were able to go to Las Vegas when the Maui was in Vegas. But remember, that was just before Thanksgiving. We had dinner there in Vegas, flew home, then drove to LSU for that game.
Wow, because is LSU always the last regular season game?
Yeah.
The Saturday after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
What, you had Thanksgiving dinner in Vegas
and Vegas
then
with you.
Flew the red eye home?
We came home. We immediately got on. We actually went on the 12th fan trip. Was that the LSU? Yeah, there was the 12th fan trip through Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We went with those winners. They were going to LSU for that game. We hopped on that.
So the last November game that you called for us in a tournament was the loss to Wisconsin?
Yeah, but I have the win in Notre Dame and the Butler win. I have those two. We did lose to Wisconsin.
I know, but you weren't there for all 3, right?
Yeah, because it was early in the week. I missed.
You're saying when we had the Thanksgiving dinner, we were done?
We were done. Yeah. That's the only tournament I've been able to go to.
Oh.
I didn't go to Orlando
Maui's
the first
going
time.
on right now.
Yeah. This is Andrew getting personal. I don't like tournaments during Thanksgiving weekend. I get it. It's for TV. I get all that. I can't go.
Yeah.
I can't now. If we end up going to the Bahamas and stuff like that, I might say, okay, let's change it out for the football Saturday.
It's funny how TK jumped up when he found out he could go to see Mickey Mouse.
He's all excited now. Now he was at the SMU game.
I saw him at the SMU game.
Yeah, he was listening to Friday's game, and he's actually listening here as well. He's trying to get.
He won't have to say anything. I'll just talk to Dr. Thornton.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good thing. Also in front of you.
Are we paying him?
Yeah, we're paying him. Yeah. Buzz,
maybe I could sub in one time.
See, I'm being now. Are you subbing in for John or subbing in for me?
Yeah, I'll just sub in for you next year when we go to Charleston. I'll just call the games.
Deal. You got it. Who's going to coach?
Devin can coach.
Yeah, he really can he?
Yeah,
you would have no problem.
Yeah,
he's undefeated, right?
He's 2-0.
Yeah.
His NCAA record is 2-0.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Of all the things that go on in the NCAA, they made sure that I didn't get credit for those 2 wins. But there's people doing all sorts of things.
You can tamper in the transfer portal.
And doing all kind of things.
Yeah, but they're going to make sure of that, right? You can do all that. Hey, thanks also, John P. Lopez.
This Aggie. Is nice.
Yeah.
Lopez, thank you, man. You're welcome here anytime. You can call the game next November when Monaco's gone.
You and John can do the games, right?
Yeah, he's been so good to me for 30 years.
He was thrilled. So we did a podcast because he is an Aggie. He's in the Hall of Honor, the Journalism Hall of Honor.
Is that
former
right?
students, yeah. So, I mean, he's been, obviously he's been a columnist, writer, he went back to San Antonio, but in Houston. Now he's on 610 in Houston, and he has that show. He's got one of the greatest names of a podcast. His saltwater fishing podcast is titled Bite Me. And I just think that's a great name.
And the podcast is about saltwater
fishing. He's always been an outdoor and a fisherman. So
you were on that show?
No, he was on mine. There's an Andrew Monaco podcast. Andrew Monaco
Show. I didn't know Lopez had one, nor that you had one. Sorry.
No, you're slightly busy, Coach.
Yeah.
You're slightly busy.
I just live in a different world this time of the year.
But John was just so kind, and so he sent me a bottle of his OG sauce, and there's a note in that box, and it said, would you please give one to Buzz as well?
Very kind
of him. He was thrilled. Yeah, he's fantastic. And again, always been a great columnist, author as well. It started with Dan Pastorini's book. He did Kerry Strug.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he always covered them. So just and a proud alum. So pass that.
Really
along.
good guy.
Yeah. So that's how you kill a segment, by the way. Did you notice that?
That's what it was.
We can take a break now. Yeah.
Okay.
There's more things to come. This is the Buzz Williams Show. We're at Rudy's. Stay with us. 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Come on back. We'll talk more Aggie basketball. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. Head on over to your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for their real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. And don't forget, Rudy's serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. And that is where we are right now, and we are every time we get together for the Buzz Williams Show. 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. There is a Joni Taylor show tomorrow. Yeah, Kevin knows. Kevin Mensch, our engineer. He does that. And the final Aggie football hour will be Wednesday, Elijah Robinson here. So we are busy this week at Rudy's. And before we go any farther, it's a shame that it's 34 minutes past this hour. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Safe and happy. I know you'll be traveling. But Steve's question is, what's your favorite Thanksgiving things to do when on the road with the team?
For Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Well, I know this is the wrong thing to say because Thanksgiving is so important and arguably the best holiday according to my wife, but since I've been in college, I've played in a tournament. I guess I've played in a Thanksgiving tournament every year since I was 18. So my freshman and sophomore years, I was at Navarro College as a manager, and we drove a 15-passenger van to Dodge City, Kansas. I actually drove one of the vans. And then my junior and senior year, I was a manager at Oklahoma City University, and we played in a Thanksgiving tournament. And then I got my first job when I was 21 at UT Arlington. And so I've played in a tournament every year that I've been an adult.
Yeah.
And so we'll leave tomorrow because you have to be at these ESPN tournaments a day before you play for the media to be there, kind of like they do at the NCAA tournament. So we'll practice for 50 minutes in the arena Wednesday morning, and then we'll go to another gym and practice, have real practice. And then Thursday is the game is at noon East Coast time.
Yeah.
So that means we'll have chapel at 6:30, shoot around at 7, breakfast at 7:30. And that means the bus leaves 2 hours before, so the bus will leave at 10. Depending upon the result, we could potentially play the first game again on Friday. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a very similar schedule on Friday. When we play on Thursday, we'll play at noon East Coast time, which means the Florida Atlantic Butler game is at 2:30. So our staff will stay and watch that. Our staff is already studying them, but I don't study the opponent until it's time to play them. So I'll be really behind once that game is over. Mm-hmm. I'll watch that game and kind of listen to what they're telling me. So that's 2:30 to 5:30. Yeah. We'll shower. We'll have Thanksgiving dinner with our program and any of the families that are there at 6:30. And then we'll have one day before Thursday night at 8 p.m. And then we'll have shoot around Friday morning at whatever time, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then we'll do the same thing on Friday, depending upon who we play on Friday. We could be watching the immediate next game, or we could be coming back as a staff Friday night to watch whoever's playing Friday evening. Mm-hmm. And then Friday night we'll have 2 days before. Saturday we'll have 1 day before. And then Sunday we'll do the same things, chapel, shoot around, game, depending upon when we play.
Yeah.
And then we'll get home at whatever time, 7 hours later. And then when we wake up Monday, it's 2 days before. Mm-hmm. Tuesday is 1 day before, so we'll do all of those things. And then we'll travel to Charlottesville and play on Wednesday. So as it relates to Thanksgiving, we probably don't do anything different other than there will be family members that are there.
Yeah.
I think there's 77 people that are traveling with us. Obviously, children and spouses, because it's Thanksgiving, more people are able to come. Normally there's probably 45 to 50 in our traveling party, and tomorrow there'll be 77, and most of that is all just spouses and children. So I think in that regard it's special.
Yeah.
And not that we're taking away from Thanksgiving, but relative to our itinerary, it's pretty much just
not really a holiday.
No,
right?
I mean the
for
spouses. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not for me or the coaches or the players, but for the families to be able to be at 3 games in 4 days and be able to have somewhat a different level of access than they typically get to see. I think all that is good.
Yeah, and for someone who is so grateful and appreciative, Thanksgiving is right up your alley.
Well, what I tell my wife is I think every day is supposed to be Thanksgiving.
Great point. Yeah.
I don't want to have turkey every day, but or even on Thanksgiving. But I think every day, if you live right and your heart's in a good place, it should be Thanksgiving every day.
Yeah, why do we tell people just one time a year how much you appreciate them, right? Do you get time then with the family around Christmas? Do you try to carve that out so you have?
Yeah, we try to. I try to. I've done better with that since I've been at A&M. I think this year we play 1 day later than we normally do. And the opponent that we're playing, I don't know if it was because of Reed Arena or if it was because of the opponent. Normally we play that last game midday in hopes that some of our players can get home that night. This year that's not going to happen. I don't know the number on it because I haven't went through my December calendar. But I think we play either on the 20th or the 21st. And since they're not going to be able to travel until a day later, they'll return a day later. Normally we practice Christmas night, so I think this means we're going to practice. I don't know this for sure, and 4 listens to these. So 4, I don't know for sure when we're practicing. We may be practicing Christmas night. Maybe we're practicing the 26th. But, we play 2 non-conference games after Christmas. So that kind of tweaks the schedule. But for the most part, I've for sure gotten 3 days every year since I've been here. And I think the last 2 years I've gotten 4 complete days where I'm just with my family, which has been great. It was probably the worst Christmas I've had as a dad last year after losing to Wofford.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was that bad. I just didn't say much for 4 days. But
let's hope this one's completely different.
I sure hope so. I don't know who we're playing, but we need to win.
HCU.
It affects Santa Claus.
He's Buzz Williams. We'll continue with the Buzz Williams Show. Come on back to Rudy's. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. The free 12-man rewards program that thanks Aggie athletics fans 13 and older for standing with the 12th man in support of our student athletes is back and with new items. Download or log into the 12th Man mobile app or create or update your 12th Man rewards profile today. Attend events, get points, redeem rewards. For details, visit 12thmanrewards.com. And that 12th Man mobile app got a refresh when you take a look at that one. I think you'll like it. Try to make it a little easier to go around, make it easier to listen to audio. I mean, I'm just saying because I'm one of those guys that you're listening to, so try to make it easy for everyone. The 12th Man mobile app and 12th Man Rewards. You can get rewards for coming to the Buzz Williams Show, and that's where we are. We have 2 more segments. I'm talking with the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. Buzz, what's really interesting, talking with the players of guys who are either freshmen who become sophomores or someone like Anderson Garcia, his second year in the program. That second year seems to be a little clearer for them. And it's really fun to see the development of a Solomon Washington in his second year and Andy in his second year here at Texas A&M. Sometimes they're not only a different player, a lot of times they're a different person as well, are they not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, early in my career, he's still one of my closest friends, John Gruden. It was when he was coaching Tampa Bay, and I had been stalking him, trying to get to a position that he felt comfortable talking to me. And the first time I ever spent several hours with him, the one thing that I learned from him, and obviously he was talking NFL players, salary cap, acquisitions, trades, drafts, etc. He said something that I've always remembered. He said, you want guys in the second year of your program to be 22% better. And if they're 22% better, then you've done your job in growing them in your culture, growing them in your system, them understanding your system, them being more comfortable as people, etc. And I think our staff probably doesn't get the credit that they are deserving of in that regard publicly, partly because I don't talk about it enough. But if you study our time, no matter where we've been, guys in their second year are normally 22% better, however you want to say that. If you can quantify it, those numbers bear out at least 22% better. But you can't quantify them being more trusting, them playing harder, them playing more unselfishly. But who Four was as a sophomore, dramatically different. Mm-hmm. Who Henry was in his second year than his first year, dramatically different. Who Andy is today, I think Andy is first in the United States in offensive rebounds. I know it's only a 4-game sample size, but he's in his second year. I think it's the second year, and that's why for us, someone like Dexter Dennis was manna from heaven, because normally a 1-year player, because of how we operate, the pace, the intensity, the terminology, all of it, it's hard in 1 year to go, oh yeah, I got this figured out. I do think other coaches and other programs do a better job than I do in regards to plug and play. Mm-hmm. I'm not very good at plug and play. But once I know you and you know me over time, that begins to become a competitive advantage. And I think the same is true regardless of who you are in our program. Vince Walden, Luke Hillen were the two new people that were on our staff when we came here. Mm-hmm. And if you were to ask them, what was your first year of experience like with Buzz, they would be like, I don't know. He never said anything to me. Well, what'd you do? I don't know, because I wasn't sure what I could do. Mm-hmm. But if you ask them at their end of their second year, they were completely owners of what we do. And it's not Luke and V, it's not the players, it's just me. And I'm aware of it. I'm not exactly sure how to do a better job with it. I'm trying to do better with Eli. I'm trying to do better with Jace. I'm trying to do better with Bip. I'm trying to do better with Wildens in regards to Four even mentioned it to me last week in practice. He was like, Coach, you're talking to Bryce a lot. Mm. And I go, I'm trying, man. Yeah. I'm trying. He goes, yeah, you're using good words with him. And this is during practice. And Four said it to me, and I go, I appreciate you saying it because I'm convicted that I need to do a better job. Not whether they're a freshman or a fifth-year COVID player. Just like, no, come on, it's okay. I accept you. But when you're a returning coach or a returning player and you know how I talk and you know my mannerisms and you know how funny I am about my routine and how I go, well, if you already know all those things, then you're much more comfortable around me. And I don't think that that has anything to do with age. I think that's just me trying to be more aware and trying to be more welcoming. I don't think I've necessarily been a jerk, but over time, the total development in our program, I think it speaks for itself. Q was dramatically better in his second year than his first year. I think if Chuck Mitchell would have played for us another year, if Josh Nebo would have played for us another year, like those guys were starting to figure it out. But you could say that about anywhere I've ever been. And so I'm trying to do better with the new people. Like Landry, I hired Landry before she was even done graduating. But she didn't have the learning curve that most adults had because she was sitting up there at the front the first 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so, like, she already kind of knew what it was. She just changed desk. But when you're brand new, there's just a lot coming at you. And you kind of feel overwhelmed like most people would. And so I'm trying to do better with all that.
One final segment of this edition of the Buzz Williams Show. When we return, this is Aggie basketball from Learfield. You can customize your Aggie basketball experience at Reed Arena this season with a Flex Pack. For men's basketball, create a 4-game SEC pack. You can also create a 4-game women's basketball pack with any home games of your choice. Customize your Flex Pack today at 12thman.com/bball tickets or call 888-99-AGGIE to buy your Aggie basketball Flex Pack today. This is our final segment of the Buzz Williams Show from Rudy's. We are with you once again next Monday for the third edition of the season. And the Aggies in Orlando, and we just need to clean some things up before we go. Are you okay with the new photo?
Yeah, I'm not sure where that picture came from. That's a really good shirt. A really good coat. Yeah. The shirt's old, but I like just classic. Okay. And I don't like it. You see how my tie knot doesn't go completely square on my button? Mm-hmm. But that's because whoever the photographer was told me to, like, look at 2 o'clock like you're looking at something, which I'm not good at that either.
I got you. No, I'm with that.
But at least it happened within the last 6 weeks instead of 5 years
This
ago.
is the one I'm going to show you. This is the
Can
one.
we take a picture of you and put it over here on this side tonight?
Now, Kevin and I took a picture already. Yeah. That's the one I wanted from CEO Day.
Oh, yeah. Those are Mo's sunglasses. And, yeah, that's a good picture.
I think I need to show this one. Is this coming up on camera?
And Craig.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love CEO Day, by the way.
Yeah, our kids love it. And they that's an example of in your second year, you're more comfortable, because in their first year, the first time they pick out a suit, they pick the worst one you could pick because they've never had one.
Right.
And then in their second year, they're like, oh, I've done this before. I want it like this. I want it like that. So they do better in their selection, in my opinion.
Boots went with that black and silver.
Yeah, so he's done it.
I would hire him
Boots
in a
did it
heartbeat.
our first year at Tech. So Boots has done it 4 times.
Yeah.
And you could tell. You could tell how he had it cut. You can tell the color. You can tell how he did his tie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an example.
Yeah.
Boots look really sharp.
I think that's Buzz, but that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's ownership, is it not? And you don't always think about things like that when you're going to play college basketball. When that becomes part of the experience, that's more of a buy-in, is it not?
No, Josh just got the, in the wall, or excuse me, in the office, that whole wall is the picture of him on CEO Day.
Yeah.
And he just had it updated
Did he?
from when we had it. It looks really good.
Do I need to tell them to put that photo of you with Mo's sunglasses?
No, this one's better.
Okay.
This one's fine.
Okay, gotcha.
This one's fine. Thank you, though. Thanks for dressing up.
The suits, by the way, because he said on our last show, he thought. Now, the reason why
you look sharp.
I wasn't. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That look I love, though, the vest and that. Plus, you give us such good stuff, I have to wear it in front of you to know how much I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? So that's the way that is. Hey, not going to be with you. Wishing you the best in Orlando. As always, safe travels. We'll get together next Monday, but always a pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the family as well. Thank you. Appreciate that. So the Aggies will be in Orlando. It's the ESPN Events Invitational. That will be on Thursday against Penn State. That's an 11 a.m. Central tip, 10:30 with the Dos Equis tip-off show. That will be Todd Callis will be filling in. He will be with Dr. John Thornton for that broadcast. Friday, again, keep up with that event. Follow all of the Texas A&M men's basketball social media channels for all those schedules. 12th Man mobile app is where you can do that as well. A reminder that Joni Taylor has her show tomorrow right back here at Rudy's. The Aggie Football Hour will take place on Wednesday from 7 to 8 with Elijah Robinson. We'll look back at that win over Abilene Christian. We'll look ahead to LSU on Saturday. That's an 11 o'clock kick in Baton Rouge, and that's 10 o'clock with our St. Joseph Health pregame show. Just going to juggle which pregame show and what name and sponsor goes with that one. And we'll be back with you next Monday for the Buzz Williams Show. It will be the third of the Buzz Williams shows here at Rudy's. We'll look back at that tournament in Orlando, and we will look ahead for the game against Virginia. And Rock is telling me that I'm doing okay. So when you get Rock approved, you know you are doing just all right. Kevin Menchow is our engineer and looks marvelous, everybody. Kelly Jackson is the producer of the Buzz Williams Show. That's in our Learfield studios in Jefferson City. Kelly, thank you so much for doing that this evening. Glad to have you as a part. For head coach Buzz Williams, I'm Andrew Monaco. To everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, be happy, enjoy it with the family. Thanks and gig 'em.